Welcome to PGTV Podcast, where we bring you real life stories for real life people, one episode at a time. Today, I have the pleasure, the honor, and the privilege of bringing to you my brother, constituent and friend, Carlos Wallace.
Yes, sir.
The world-renowned author, advocate poet, enforcer of the movement, which we call our culture. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, I'm good. We got to correct though. I produce poetry. I don't. Okay. I perform. Like
right.
I don't want no poets coming.
That's why I say enforcer. That's why I say poetry enforcer.
Yeah, I appreciate
because
that.
It's
man.
like when I say the poetry enforcer,
yes, sir.
It's like you're taking the poets,
okay,
and you're enforcing the movement,
okay,
throughout the culture.
I like that.
So you're an enforcer, man.
That's the first time I've been introduced like that.
You know what I mean?
That. I like
because
that.
Without an enforcer, a lot of poets won't be heard.
Right.
Because if you're just a poet,
right,
and you just want to be heard,
yeah,
who can hear you if there's not a enforcer making the pavement,
making the progress,
and making it happen?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, like
so, and that's with anything. Right. You know what I mean? I tell everybody, regardless of whatever it is you do, you still need people to help you move that along.
Right.
You know, that's just. I just never been introduced like that. So
exactly. I'm
gonna use that.
Okay, well, it's yours to use, man. And I'm honored to be able to introduce you like that.
Appreciate it.
Because that's how I vision you.
Okay.
You know, since the time I've known you, you know, you've been enforcing things, man. You've been making things happen, man. It's like you've been willing them to be.
Thank you.
I've been witnessing manifestation by way of what you do.
Thank you.
From your book. We're going to get into that because I can go on and on. Okay. But I have a few questions, man, that I really want to ask you.
Yeah.
And I want to start off kind of, you know, sprinkle them around a little bit, but I do want to get into what makes Carlos Wallace tick. You know, what got you into, you know, becoming who you are? What got you to see that there were a need for the things that you bring to the table within your packaging and within your vision?
So what motivates me is waking up every morning with a purpose.
Okay.
That's number one.
Right.
And what I do is kind of what you just said. If I see something that's lacking, you know, the organizer in me says, okay, here's where I can help whatever that is, right? And in entertainment, when I first started producing comedy shows, like the first thing I said, we're gonna start on time. Because I get so tired of people saying, well, if it's a black event, it's going to be late.
Right,
like,
CPT time.
Yeah, like let's destroy that myth right off top. Right, like, you know, so, and with that, you start setting a precedence for excellence. Okay. You know what I mean? I was just talking to my DJ the other day, TNT. She was like, man, I noticed you wear a different suit all the time. I said, because if you set that standard, you wear a suit, like, so it's gonna push other people to wear a suit, or to at least
raising the bar,
raise up, like, you know what I mean. So it's little things like that, like starting on time,
right? So
that structure, and then the way your appearance, right? And so our shows is not just a show; it's a production,
right?
You know what I mean. Right. So, and it's just that's what I try to bring to whatever is already there. Just try to make it better.
So when you say our show, for people that don't know, or the listeners, because I don't know if we actually brought to the mindset what the shows consist of. What are the shows? When you say our show, what does the shows entail?
Comedy productions and poetry productions. Okay. You know, in the last, I'll say 5 years or so, been primarily poetry. Had a comedy show here or there, like mostly in Dallas, a couple here in Houston, but been mostly poetry. Okay. And because to me, poets are the last truth tellers.
Right.
You know, they were the first truth tellers.
Right.
Look in the Bible, right? And to me, they're the last. Like they're the people that can get on that stage and express what other people are feeling.
Right.
And they do it in a poetic fashion, a poetic way. But what they're saying is what people are feeling. Okay. You know, that's the heartbeat of society. Right. And so I've just found myself loving poetry more.
Right. Right. It's that spoken word.
Yeah.
It's the essence of, in the beginning, was the word.
Correct.
Nothing is without that word.
That's right.
If you say book, and then it becomes, because you have to put in the work. I've learned this in a quest to try to attain or create patents. When you go into that patent world, or you create something, you have to write out a script of what that thing does.
That's correct.
Which will become the instructions.
That's right.
So before you create something, you have to write it out, because in the beginning is the word.
That's right.
And then that thing becomes.
That's right.
So until you can explain or express or allow someone to visualize and see, it is not.
It's nothing.
And biblically it says a nation without a vision will perish.
That's right.
So that means we made to manifest.
That's right.
Now I want to get into the questions. I have them up here. I don't have any cards. I'll probably get around to that. And being that this brother graced me with my first episode, Mr. Carlos Wallace, I want to be able to say thank you. And I want to be able to say good job.
Yeah, praise
what
is
you
mine.
do.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you these. I said, what experiences shape the man behind the books and the film? Because the brother's a great author, and this is one of the books.
Yeah.
Why sell lies when the truth is free? Hey, that's a new one. I hadn't heard of that one yet.
It's been within the last year or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, my life experiences, you know, I never even wanted to write a book.
Right.
But Liz, my wife, so a publishing company came to me when I was on the tour with Top Dogs, and with an idea to write a book, and I didn't want to. I was like, man, that's not what I do. I'm a union man. You know, you stay in your lane, right? And the more she and I talked about it, she was trying to encourage me to do it.
Right.
And so one day she hit me with a challenge. She said, look, if you die tomorrow, all the things your parents and your grandparents have taught you, your life lessons, they're going to go in the grave with you.
Right.
Well, I'm the guy, like, if you challenge me and I don't have a rebuttal, I got to come meet your challenge.
Right.
And I thought about it and I called her back. She was in New York. I said, when I first met her, she wrote a poem about my mother. My mom, for those that don't know, gave birth to me after a basketball game while she was in college. And when I was telling her about
Your mom
it,
play ball?
Yeah, All-American. And a couple of days later, she emailed me this poem she wrote about it. And I was like, man, it's almost like you were there, you know? And she said, I just took the words you were sharing with me and I wrote this. And so I challenged her. I said, if you still got that poem that you wrote when we first met, because I want that to be the opening chapter. Right. And it wasn't 10 minutes later, she emailed me that poem again. So I had to start the journey of my first book. And for those that have read it or the audio, whatnot, like that, we just turned her poem into the first chapter. Like, so it was rewritten into, you know.
And that's a great thing because it said God will bring you a helpmeet. Yeah. That's the prime example of a helpmeet.
That is real. That's real.
That's right.
That's real. And from that experience, like so I tell the publishing company, after I finish or throughout, like, cause I'm writing about my family, I said, there's no way I can sell this. Right. They offered me $80,000 and I didn't know what people sold their manuscripts for at the time. Right. And all I knew is no money was enough. Right. Like, you know, and you know, $500,000 sold later. I'm glad I didn't, but
right. Because if they offer you something, it's always worth more.
Well, that I know without question. And but they said, oh, we figure like, you know, you're a regional popular guy. You could probably sell 25,000, 30,000 copies. And of course, I got to meet that challenge. I'm like, who y'all think I am? I know I can do more than that. And but throughout that process, she helped me. I would send her a chapter. She would edit it, or she'd throw it away and say, "This ain't good enough."
That ain't it. Go back to the drawing board. Come on with it, bro.
And so once we finished, and I turned it over to my rep, like that was help guide me through it, man. And she graded it about a C, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like
you thought it was the bomb.
Oh my God! I thought it was good. And she said, and the lady, she was like, don't worry about it. She said, you know, a lot of people first book, they don't even get to a C. Right. It may be even an F. Like, and I mean, she got red marks all through that thing, man. And she said, no, this is some good work. Like a C is good. I'm thinking, no, not where I'm from, you know. But so go through the process a little more. It started out in 18 chapters. And for those that have it, it's 13 now. Right. So it's not that we got rid of 6. It's she's like, some of your chapters just sound like the others. So let's merge those together. Redundant. Yeah. And so when we finished, we got that masterpiece, man.
On your first book, what title was your first book?
Life is Not Complicated, You Are.
Okay. Yeah. Give me kind of a mindset on how that was born. Was that the first one that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
It's so what I come to learn just maturing and getting older is a lot of the things you face in life is not about you.
Right.
And if it is, it's about making you better.
Right.
Like you have too many people to think, oh man, why is this happening to me?
Right.
And I come to the realization, like everything that happens that's challenging, it's like going to the gym. When you work out, your muscles are gonna hurt.
Right.
But it's training you for something bigger down the road.
Right.
Life is the same way.
Okay.
And so and of course, you know, I'm writing this at 40. So I'm looking back at the first 40 years of my life and all the challenges that I had to overcome. And I've never been the kind of guy to sit around and cry about it. Like, I was just like, man, why? And just keep moving. Right. And so that book, in writing that, it was giving me, to me, the revelation, like it was preparing you for this moment. Okay. Like, and so when I go to schools, kids always ask, how long did it take you to write this book? I said, 40 years, because I had to live it first.
Now, when you say you go to schools, that was one of the fruits that opened from the book.
Absolutely.
Being able to enter into the schools. Now, is it grade schools or collegiate level or both?
Collegiate level.
Okay.
So crazy thing, I was at a high school in Acres Home.
Okay.
And the librarian came to me. She said, man, we don't have enough black male teachers.
Is that Carver?
It was Carver.
Okay.
It was Carver.
Yeah.
And she said, but if we could have this book in the library. She said, so I'm gonna email you for the librarian conference in Austin that's coming up in April. It would be really nice if you come. And I said, okay. So she emailed me who I need to submit the manuscript to. And about a week or two later, they emailed me. They said, hey, you mentioned God too many times.
What?
If you're willing to edit it and take God, I said, no.
Right.
It ain't, I don't care.
That's the meat and potatoes of the book.
Yeah, my faith, right?
Right.
And we're talking, I don't know how many schools are in Texas, but they were going to put 2 copies in every library in Texas, all public schools, high schools. Okay. And I said, no, it ain't even worth it. So it wasn't, I don't know, 6 months later, I ran into the head of psychology over at Lone Star. Okay. And she said, hey, I want to take this book back to our president. Right. And because I think it'll fit our psychology curriculum. And here I am, 12 years later, I've been rocking.
Still grooving.
Yeah,
hey, man. And 3 books later?
3 books later. Right. But it just gives an example. When one door closed.
Right, another one open.
Yeah. And high school, while I wish it would have been there, that wasn't a fit.
Right. Because you kept God in it. God took you where you were supposed
Absolutely.
to be with it.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I truthfully believe that.
It's a possibility that if you would allow them to dictate that,
what's next?
They could have just been, all right, well, we don't want it no more. And then now you locked and blocked from everything else. Yes. You know, so.
And the thing is, when you like you said, you allow them to dictate. Right. Now what's next? Right. And then what's after that? Right. Then what's to change the cover? Mm-hmm. Take me off and put so you just never. Exactly. Yeah. So you know, if you know your principles are solid and it's what you believe, stand on your principles.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
That's the foundation of what it becomes.
That's correct.
Within the vision or the manifestation. Absolutely. It starts at the principle.
Yes.
Because if you don't have any principles, you don't have anything at the end of the build.
That is correct.
It's just a shell of a thing.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
I understand. Okay. Now, what was the second title or your second book that came from? I know you had to be pumped about how well that first one did. You say, hey, I can do it again.
Well, I used to hear music artists growing up nervous about their sophomore album.
Right.
That's how I was about
sophomore jinx.
Yes. Right. Because like you said, you have an unexpected success from that book. And so when you just writing just to write. And I never set out to try to sell 100,000, 200, 300,000 copies. Like I'm just writing, right? And I had already told myself this book, like I didn't grow up, I grew up in a 2-parent household, right? My father was an engineer, mother was a school teacher, my grandfather was a judge. So that ain't the story that sells, right? And so I said, this book probably won't do well for years and years. Right. Because I knew it was a good book and the structure and all the discipline, but it ain't got no twerking.
Right, it wasn't the hippest thing happening or the coolest thing for the era, for the age.
Right, and so I was already expecting a slow progression, not right away, right? So, but it took off. Right. So now I'm like, oh man.
Because the people were into you now from the first book.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
so here I am on this second one.
Yeah.
And the title is The Other 99 Times,
Right.
TYMES, Train Your Mind to Enjoy Serenity.
Okay.
And what made me write that was the Malaysian air crash. Like every day the news would come on. We still ain't found wreckage. We still ain't found wreckage. I mean, for like a year and a half.
Almost some Bermuda Triangle type stuff.
But they so fixated on the failure.
Right.
Not one time did they say 10,000 planes take off and land safely every day. And so they have people's minds so fixated on the one that failed. And trust, the crash is sad. Like, it's horrible. You got family
members.
members.
Dwell on that.
But why are we dwelling on that? And so that's what that book is. We focus too much on the one time things went wrong instead of thanking God for the 99 that went right.
That's a good mindset to have for a lot of our younger athletes who don't make it to that level where they're ascending to go, and they don't lose hope because it's so many more things you can do.
So many more things.
You can coach, you can fitness train, you can even become anything else, because if you had any type of other schooling or any other secondary that you took in your college, your secondary major or whatever, you can actually apply those gifts apply that learning.
Because think about this, as an athlete, there are so many young kids looking up to you. Like, I mean, hundreds, if not thousands of millions, right? And just because you don't make the league or you blow out a knee or whatever the case, they still looking up to you. So they wondering, how are you going to rebound, right? And so you're that inspiration, you're that guidance bearer, that leader. You still have to be that. Just because you're not lining up on Saturdays or Sundays, don't mean you still can't be that, or you should. Like, God has already put you in that place. And so what you do next will determine everything. And that's, I look at it like that. Except my wife, she pick on me all the time. She said, man, I don't know anybody reinvent themselves more than you. And I don't think it's so much I reinvent as much as if it's that time to go a different direction, it's just that time, because that's what it's about.
Following is having those principles in place.
And always forward. With everything I do, the next thing is going to be the best thing,
How did your upbringing and time in the military influence your path as an author, an entrepreneur, and a cultural strategist?
My upbringing, for one, structure. Every day, man, my mama house, we had to be up at like 6 o'clock. I had 3 brothers and 1 sister. The 3 brothers, we all shared a room, 1 bathroom. So one is in there washing their face, brushing teeth, the other's making the bed in that rotation. But at 6:30, you at the table, it's time to eat breakfast. And that's every day. That's school day, that's weekends. Like, it was just that structure. And so when I joined the Navy, that's the first time I ever seen adult kid, 18, 19 year olds that didn't know how to make a bed. And I'm like, where did y'all grow up? And so that structure helped me in the military. Just already knowing what that looks
above
like.
And beyond everybody else.
Yeah, so for the kids out there that's complaining that their parents are on them with that type of structure and that mindset, trust me, they putting you on the path to success in life. They really are. And I didn't think about it like that, because to me it was just normal. It was just a normal thing. But once I got into the world and I saw other people that were not raised like me, I saw them at a disadvantage. And so, of course, like I said, that was only into the military. But once I'm out of the military and into my railroad career, became an organizer. Again, that structure, it set a path and allowed me a great deal of success in that field, right? And so, but once you're an organizer, you're always organized.
Right. Like, no matter where you go with it.
Ain't no such
That's like if you know business, you know business.
You know business.
You can sell food, marbles, or soda.
There you go.
Business.
And so when I got into show production, I still brought that organizing mindset, and the same with strategizing in the community and protecting our culture. It's still about structure,
principles,
and principles,
the foundation.
And you just add more layers to it as you go, but the foundation is the foundation. And so it make it easy. Like, a lot of people say, man, why everything comes so easy? It doesn't come easy. It's many, many years of preparation before I approach whatever it is the next challenge.
And I'm glad you say that, because even with the namesake of my podcast and the things that I do, the poetic genetics, within the genetics, there are strands of DNA, building blocks.
That's right.
And as you say, within the realm of your poetry, coming from the books and even within the military, you were structuring the blocks
Yes.
based off the foundation and the principles that your mom and dad gave.
Right.
So each time you're building off of those blocks, off of those genetics, off of those principles, no matter where you go, because everything new is another strand.
That's correct.
Coming from the same fold of things. You just
even when you don't know it.
Exactly.
Even when you don't know it. Like it's just, like you said, it's more building blocks. Right. And I probably didn't come to that realization until I retired. Like 45, retired. And I was like, okay, now I'm working for me now.
Right. Right.
And how do I monetize me? How do I put that together and make that a brand and make that a business?
Right.
And, you know, the credibility was already there.
Right.
But it was based on Union Pacific or United Transportation Union. It was with somebody else's label assisting my name.
Right, right.
How do I go out there with just my name?
Just your name, okay.
And so I had to figure that part out. Right. And by the grace of God, I ain't hit a stumble yet. Right. You know what I mean? Like,
because that foundation.
Yes.
The way that mom and dad instilled it and put it there, man.
Yeah.
From her basketball all the way up.
That's correct.
It takes that visionary in the beginning of where the roots are cultivated,
right,
on down through, and continually, what they say, wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yes,
if you continually stay with that, it won't fail you. And that is faith in the blueprints and buildings of what God gave you.
I believe that.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Already.
I believe it.
How do your books connect to your larger mission of truth, telling, empowerment, and cultural sustainability?
Well, number one, as I tell everybody has at least one book in them.
Okay.
Everybody. And writing your book is important because nobody will tell your story like you.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you allow someone else to tell your story, they may not tell it the way you want it told, or in a fashion with your truth. Right. And I challenge everybody, all my students every year, write a book. You know, whether it be, especially if you feel like life has handed you some challenges. You're not the only one.
Right.
You are not in those challenges alone.
You just have your own set of challenges.
Yeah, so I share a story in my the first book about in the 4th grade was the first time my peers nominated me and voted me president. Right. Junior historians, man, I'm proud. You know, walk around here excited. Well, when it was time to take a picture for the newspaper, my mother had me in this all white button down shirt. And we're in a small town. So, you know, you're in the paper, hey, you a hot shot, right? Yeah. So we take this picture where anybody to know, if you dark complexion, don't wear white in a black and white photo, right?
You stand out.
Yeah, man.
Like
so the shirt popped out, but you couldn't see me at all. So, and the paper comes out on Sunday, and I'm a paper boy.
And then the paper already got the dark ink color.
Yeah. So, and get to school the next day, everybody picking on me. Oh, man, we couldn't even see you. You so black.
Right.
This. And so I went from here to here, man. Just on a high to damn. And but you know how many students come up to me after class about that one story. And so when I get home, I tell my mother. And my mom really did me a favor. You know, she's been deceased now for almost 30 years. Right. But she gave me a lesson that'll last me forever. She sat me down and she said, "You darker than them because you better." Right. I was like, "What?" And from that day, I believed that, right? But the gift she gave me was she didn't go up to the school. And my mother was a school teacher. Right. She didn't go up to the school and say, "Hey, why y'all up here picking on my baby?" Right. She gave me weapons to be able to fight it myself. You get what I'm saying? Because, and I don't know if she was thinking like this at the time, but one day she ain't gonna be here to fight my battle.
And it's your fight. You got to get that rhythm of fighting your own fight.
And so she gave it to me.
She gave you the weapons and the tools
in the 4th grade. Like, hey, and it's all here. Right. You know what I mean? You know, you can call me whatever black joke there is. Right. That don't bother me.
You heard it all.
I heard it all. And so when you build up that mental strength, like who can hurt you? Who can take something from you?
And there it is. If God be for you, who can be against you?
Nothing. And so that probably wraps it up. Like, and so what my challenge myself is to try to give as many people as I can what she gave me. And of course, I'll never meet them all, right? But if I can do it through my writing, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Why is it so important to you to tell your story and help others tell theirs in a world where stories are often told incorrectly and incompletely?
So I was just reading this report the other day where they finally have DNA evidence where the Blackfoot Native Americans have been in Wyoming for I think once 18,000 years. Long before slavery, long before, you know what I mean? Long before there was a Christopher Columbus. And and I wrote a blog about it. I hadn't put it out yet. But the blog was explaining this is what happened when a lie starts to dictate. So this lie has been going on, it's been in textbooks, it's been in history books, and it just goes to show when you don't get to tell your story, right? And but I've always argued that black people were here way before slavery. And so in that study, it talks about that, how there were pioneers from Africa that sailed, and they had been in America, South Central America, long before the Europeans ever came in. And I'd always said that. I'd always argued that point. And but my father is who planted that in me as a young. He said, "Boy, your history didn't start with slavery." Because I read Roots when I was 12 years old, and he wanted me to be clear about that. Like, hey, this is not the beginning of your history. So if you want to read it, that's fine. But that's not where your life began. And so that's why it's important to me for everybody, read, number one, and filter in that what you will. Because even in those history books that are wrong, there's still something that you can learn. You know what I mean? And I just remember my dad, man, was in history. By now I'm in high school, and there was stuff that just wasn't. He said, "Look, you memorize it for the test, but you know the truth." And so I tell everybody that, like, don't go in there and fail your class to try to make a point, right? Memorize it for the test, but when you graduate, you know, set on your journey to being a truth teller, you know, and it starts with you, starts in the mirror.
And you know what's kind of, I would say, mind-boggling only to those that wouldn't know, is how the power structure or the control structure tries to keep you as just a believer rather than a knower.
That's correct.
There's not much you can accomplish as just a believer all the time.
That's correct.
You have to sometimes know, you know, no matter what your profession is, nobody comes to your place of business and say, "Hey, can you help me?" And you say, "I believe I can." Right. And then you're not supposed to be a professional. You're supposed to still be learning your craft in school or wherever you know.
Yeah.
So we've been trained to be constant believers. If God done something for you, you know what he done.
Correct.
You don't just believe. You believe as a babe starting.
That's right.
But sooner or later, how can you have a personal relationship with anything or anybody that you don't know?
You still guessing.
You got to know.
Yes, you got to know.
You've built Soul CARITAS and now Soul Vision to merge entertainment, education, and empowerment. What makes these platforms different from others in the industry?
Our goal is not to do what's popular, what's already out there. You know, one of the disturbing things I find, and it's nothing against any filmmakers, you know, everybody has their right to make whatever. But when I see a lot of the independent black film, I see a lot of misogyny, sex, drugs, and you know, and I challenge them. I said, man, what message are we putting out there, right? Because I do believe what you speak will become, right? So even if a guy said, that's just my imagination. Yeah, but man, why are you creating that? You know, and it's one thing to say, look, I create from the world around me. Like, I know what's around me. I get it. But even with that, you should want better. You know what I mean? If you making film, you probably not still in that world. Like, you know what I mean?
You know, what it would appear to me as, I don't know much about the film industry, but a lot of that, what you just explained about what the filmmakers are caught into, it's a collective, and a lot of people just want to be in it.
Yeah.
So if they just want to be in it, they're going to mimic and copycat
what's already there.
Yeah. And they're not bringing creativity or originality. They're just duplicating a process.
Right.
And I even see it a lot when you look on YouTube and you trying to find something that could help you do something. Yeah. And you can see the mimickers because they're not bringing anything new to show you. Right. They just copycatting the last 12 videos that you had to go through.
They did the same thing.
They did the same thing, but none of it was extensive enough to show you how or give you any type of new understanding of what you're searching for. They just replicate, and they can only go so far because that's all the copycat could take them. Yes. And that's, if you dare to create something to fulfill the need, that's when God will grab and take over and start making things happen for you because you brought something new as a creator to town and not just replicating or duplicating what's already in existence.
And that has been my focus, my books, my productions, all the way back to high school, I didn't wear what was popular. Like I was always that kid that tried to have something new and different and make people follow me. You know what I mean? Right. And so it's the same thing in my film. Even when we, I now take people to the universities with me to share what their books and why they wrote this book. And generally my poet or soul artists, right? Because their mindset is very similar to mine, like originality and staying true. Right. So to take them with me, it's no problem.
How do you hope your work influences the next generation?
I hope it influences truth telling, being true to who you are and pure to yourself, right? If you've been married to the same woman 25 years, you probably don't have a lot of hoes. Like, don't write about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I
write about how good your relationship with your woman
with your wife,
so that others can see that it is doable.
There you go,
and not
man.
just having the mind, oh, bitch, I ain't it. I don't want to be with him.
Yeah, why not talk about that? How beautiful the relationship is with your wife and how Pawpaw is the greatest title I've ever had. Talk about that because it's an interest. There's an interest for that.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
A greater interest than you think.
I'm hoping that's what we do, for that next generation.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who feels overlooked or hoodwinked by the system, but wants to make an impact?
That's your mind. Because if somebody say, I've been overlooked, I say, by who? Who you looking to look at you? Right. You have to believe every opportunity that's yours will be yours. Right. And the ones that aren't, they're not, that wasn't yours. And I've always believed that. Right. When I set my mind to do something, 9 out of 10 times I accomplish it.
Right, because that's yours.
Yes.
You set your mind to it.
Yes.
So whatever you set your mind to is really yours.
It's really yours.
That's your mindset.
Correct. But the challenges I put before me are not going to be determined by who can allow that to happen. Right. You know what I mean? Right. If you say, well, like I don't care much for contests, because that's somebody else's opinion of my work or of me as an artist, as a writer. I'm the greatest writer ever to walk. Right. To me. Exactly. And you as a writer should think the same thing.
And it ain't got nothing to do with no competition for anybody else.
At all.
I'm the greatest me and the best me at all times.
Every book I write is a challenge from my last book, from the previous book. It's not to set out to be better than anybody else's book. Because I can assure you it's not going to be like theirs. Right. So I don't know how you would even measure who's better or good or bad. Right. But it's a challenge I put on myself, right? And so when somebody say to me they've been overlooked, my question is, by who? Like, because that's already in your mind. And you focus on the wrong thing. Right. Focus on the task.
So you got to step back and look at yourself and see what you see.
Quit waiting on the validation of someone else. They may not even know who they are. How can they tell you who you are? Exactly. So we have to cut that out.
Right. And a lot of people will put stipulations on you because they don't feel like they good enough to do what it is they say you can do.
Right. If you let them.
Right. Okay. Now, where can listeners connect with you and learn more about your upcoming projects?
CarlosWallace.com or SoulCARITAS.com. All show production stuff, SoulCARITAS.com. And my personal, as far as book signings and college appearances and things like that, mine, CarlosWallace.com.
When and how was Soul Caritas birthed into being?
So I don't know if you even knew this, but I used to be an engineer for Union Pacific. So around year 13, 14, something like that, I'm a union rep, and we had a head-on collision in north of Houston, up 59. But anyway, the guy we had one fatality, and the guy that was killed in that head-on, he bumped me that morning. And so about 10 o'clock that morning, man, and I'm stewing all day. Like, man, because the way seniority works, you normally bump the lowest person because if number one bumps number two, it just domino. So generally, you just go straight and bump the lowest guy to eliminate all that. Well, he bumped me, and I was like number 4 on a board of 8. And I'm a union rep, and so was he. And I'm like, and he's a white guy. And I'm like, he just trying to, that's usually mean they picking on you. So I called my conductor and told him, hey, man, I ain't going to be at work tonight because GY bumped me. He said, what? So we go back for, why ain't do? I don't know, man. So they get called out that night around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And he calls me from work. He said, hey, GY right here, you want to talk? Yeah, put him on the phone. Let's go and get this over. And it was the 15th, man. He said, no, I just wanted to get one more trip in, and you were first out. So I wanted to get one more trip in before the pay period ended. Oh, here I've been mad all day for nothing. You know what I mean? So long story short, hour and a half or so later, conductor called me again, breathing heavy, just excited. I was like, man, what's wrong? He said, man, GY is dead. He's dead. What? What you mean he's dead? Somebody forgot to line the switch. And so a southbound train from coming out of Shreveport went in the siding and hit them head on. And the conductor, he was off because we have to do a roll by. So he was already on the ground. So I thought that day, like, see, that God had him bump me for a reason. Like, not that I wanted him to die, but it wasn't my time. So if you ever seen that movie Flight with Denzel Washington, so at the end they have the government come in there, the FAA, the union, and the company. The railroad does the same thing, except I was FRA. So we had a hearing just like that, and I'm in there, and I said some stuff that our superintendent didn't like. I felt like our training wasn't adequate enough. The guy that had left the switch over, he had been working but 9 months. And to me, he shouldn't have been out there by himself anyway. And so the superintendent didn't like that.
Right, but it was the truth.
Well, yeah. And a week or two later, not even a week, like maybe 3 days later, he pulled my license. So there used to be a rule. So the railroad and airlines under the same Railway Labor Act. And they had this rule where, like, if your eyesight is going bad or hearing, like, they can just pull your license in order you to have an evaluation. And I was like 33, so you know,
there was really no reason.
Yeah,
except
so
his feelings was hurt.
33, 34. Yeah, well, he told me, he said, some stuff you keep in house. I said, not that, man.
Right. That
I got a father out here, cousins, like the whole rail system.
And other people that want to be applying for the job need to know that.
Like safety is number one. And he took offense to that. And so he took my license, and I was off work for 3 years and 4 days, man, fighting to get my job back. And the thing about with the federal government, for them to come down and do the evaluation, there's no time frame. So with the union in our country, everything has a time limit. Like they pull you out of service, they got 10 days to charge you, 10 days to say you guilty or innocent, and then, so with the federal government, there's no time.
But it would appear that if that episode took place, you was able to see it and say that, then I'm sure the federal government had to be able to see the same thing and now divert that to him.
So what happened, immediately, they're going to always create something to make the public feel at ease, right? So they created a new rule about lining the switch. You got to go through this procedure and on. But again, never did they address, hey, maybe sending a guy out there too soon is not the right thing.
But making the adjustments was saying that without saying that.
And that's what happened.
And he should, no reprimand for him for taking your license.
Well, actually, when I went back, like I said, I was off 3 years and 4 days. When I went back, he was gone. So I don't know if he retired. I have no idea.
Oh, wow.
But that's what started. So when I was off, So in the rail industry, we have job insurance that pay us when we get fired or what. But if you fail a test or drugs or fighting, job insurance don't pay.
Right.
And so when he pulled my license, it kind of fell under the category of failing a test. And so job insurance, they're not gonna pay me. Now I go from $120,000, $130,000 a year to zero.
Right.
And got 2 kids, man, and I got a wife, I got a house, a mortgage,
Right.
I got all the regular
Got things
stuff
going on.
as a man.
You got to have money to pay bills.
And I had to figure something out. So a friend of mine, he wanted to bring Cedric the Entertainer to Houston.
Right.
He lives in Chicago, and he called me, and I was like, "What you want me to do?" He said, "Man, you know people, organizer."
Right.
And this is before I became organizer. I just knew a lot of people, and so I put in about $35,000, 3 of us, and we had that said show success. And this is the first year of my first 9 months or so. Then the union calls me and said, "Hey, you want to go to organizer school?" Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but yeah,
Right, exactly.
And so I said, "Does it pay?" Absolutely. So I go to organizer school, and in class is where I saw, like, man, I could really employ this into my comedy thing. And so as an organizer, I had to travel all around the country. I'm meeting more and more people. So I would look at places, man, this might be a good place to bring comedy. And so we did the Saturday Entertainer show in March. And then I launched CARITAS, and we did June, and from there on out, man.
Now I remember you started, I don't know if you started, but when I started following and keeping up, you were at the Improv.
Yes.
How did that come about? Was it just something that was brought to you, or did you see that as a facility that's capable of holding the size of what you need to do or whatever?
Well, when I first started, who I said, like I said, Saturday Entertainer. My next one was Lavelle Crawford.
Okay.
So all I knew were theaters.
Right.
But I'm always a person that's trying to streamline and make something simpler, right?
Right.
So I did that, and then I did a show at the Apollo in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got back, while we were profiting, but it wasn't nowhere like I thought it should be, right? And I was like, man, there has to be theater expense is the biggest expense,
Right.
Next to artists, depending on how big the artist is. And Apollo, man, that thing is like $80,000 to rent that place, right? And then you got to get insurance because it's a historic venue. You got to get insurance at any venue, but more there.
Right.
So, and all I was thinking, man, if we'd have done this somewhere where the venue cost was lower, we would have made a bigger profit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I had never been to the Improv, never been. And so I hear about this place called the Improv. Again, I go back to my mama. When I applied for the McDonald's at 16, she made me wear a suit. So I go home and I said, man, I'm gonna go over there and talk to these people. So one lesson I learned as a union rep, you have a briefcase and just have it full of paper. You may not have nothing, no input. Exactly. So I'll go over there with my left briefcase, my suit, tie. I say, I'd like to speak to the manager, Jeff Sewell, man. Right. And he and I are still good friends to this day. Right. And he said, yeah, I'm the manager. What you need? I sat down, man, and said, hey, look, I'm doing comedy. I don't know. And he said, when would you like to start? Now I'm blown away. Right. So that's December. I said, well, not till can I do it the Thursday before Good Friday? So we got that ain't till April.
Right.
Because in the theaters, you want to give yourself a good solid 90 days of promotion. So I'm approaching it with that mindset, not realizing, I could probably do this monthly, right. But he said, yeah. And first show I had that, we sold out 2 shows the first night. And, and we built an amazing relationship over the last almost 20 years, man.
So you do shows in other cities or just in Houston, or how does that work?
So before my wife and I got married and she moved to Houston, we did them in New York and Houston continuously at Broadway Comedy Club. Then in Dallas, we got Addison and Arlington Improv. And there used to be an Improv in Bankhead in Atlanta. And so I produced a few shows there too. Okay. But Chicago a couple of times, but primarily Houston. Because let me tell you, I tell anybody, if you can figure out what it is you're trying to do here in Houston, you ain't got to go anywhere else. I used to wonder why there are so many rappers in New York that has never cared to leave New York. Right. Comics too. Right. Well, because they don't have to.
So much happening, so much opportunity.
And Houston is the same way. It's just we, for whatever reason, we always look at it as what's over there. You know what I mean?
I think now that more people are coming with that collective mindset, it's more and more becoming.
That's right. Because it's like I say this about a kid and a toy. You know, you buy one of your kids a toy and they'll play with it a little bit and then they put it down. But as soon as company come over and start playing with it, now they want it.
And so, that's in everything.
Yeah, and so now I think Houstonians are seeing the value of Houston through the eyes of somebody else.
That's like a young lady might like you don't like, but as soon as somebody else show interest, and vice versa.
Hey, I thought you, no. But yeah, it starts with that kid. Like he has no value in that toy until he see another kid pick it up.
Okay, so I want to bring this to forefront because I hadn't seen this one, man. But for all y'all out there, become avid readers, first and foremost, as well as becoming an avid reader of Carlos Wallace's collection of books.
Thank you.
This particular one, Why Sell Lies When the Truth is Free? Hey, man, that's a monumental, universal slogan.
Yeah.
And that's something that just within the title itself will set you free because you ask yourself, why?
Yeah, why?
Because sometimes it's easy to tell a lie when you're caught impulsively on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
It's not always quick to tell truth.
Yes.
Because over a course of time growing up, subconsciously and indirectly, we've been taught
That's correct.
to lie.
It starts with
from school to home and
tell
everything.
that insurance man I ain't here.
All the way on up. So
yeah,
these are some tools that could reconstruct the mindset, reconstruct the ideology, reconstruct the stigmas that have been sewn in and placed into our minds that sometimes we mechanically and robotically carry out.
Yeah.
And then we'll say, what you talking about? What you mean? Why because we're not conscious that these things are going on. So reading, as they say, is fundamental, man. But reading good things, man, are valuable.
Facts.
And hey, man, we can't lose with reading.
That's correct.
Last question.
Yes, sir.
What final message do you want people to walk away with after this conversation?
Continue to follow this podcast. That's number one.
Hey.
Yeah, I want to see this thing grow.
Already,
I want to see this thing grow, man. I know the work you put in, and I want to see this grow. That's the biggest. But beyond that is have the kind of passion that you have. Like there's people, like nothing annoys me more than seeing a good idea go to a cemetery. You know, like I talk to people and say, man, this is what I want to do. And I'll if it's not a good idea, I'll say, no, I don't know if that's gonna work. But
you got the experience.
If I said, man, yeah, I think you should do that. And then I see them 6 months later, a year later, oh man, I got distracted. And I'm
scrapped it and moved on.
And generally that happens when something becomes a challenge. It's the hill is too high for them to climb, so they think. But the message I want to tell, see it through. What you say you're gonna do, just do that. And if you fail forward. That means it's something else. Just go make a couple of little, adjustments, and it's gonna work. But we gotta quit giving up. I say this all the time about people that go viral on the internet. One day was the first day that they posted, and they only got one like, or maybe none. And 50 other people started that day too, but he or she kept going. But the consistency is what created the success.
Man, and to kind of piggyback with you on that, I had a teacher, I guess I was like 6th grade, and he always used to tell me, son, perseverance.
Yeah.
At the time, I wasn't too hip to that word.
Right.
Perseverance. He always used to tell me, I never looked up perseverance at the time. I just kept hearing him say persevere.
Right.
But as I got older and I found myself persevering in certain episodes, regardless, I stayed at it. If it didn't work or I didn't get it right, I kept going. I didn't know I was persevering, but I reflected on it, and I was like, man, that man used to tell me that every day.
Keep going.
So whatever it is that I've taken on to do, I never look at, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I just keep at it until I finally get it.
Yeah, see it through.
And it's like It don't matter what it is.
Right.
I'm gonna do it until
Quitting
it's
is
done.
not an option.
It's
Yeah.
it's not even a thought.
No, it's not even in my
It's
mind.
because you're so busy trying to make it happen.
That's right.
You ain't thinking about quitting.
No.
You're waking up the next day to continue.
That's correct.
You know what I mean?
That's
and there's a
correct.
lot of people who have, and a lot of people who will convince you or try to convince you to. But if it's in you and you operating on that perseverance, you can't.
Yeah, before I went to improv, you know, I mentioned it to a couple of people that, man, they ain't gonna let you, they do their own shows. Why would they let you do a show? And I say to people today, what if I listen to them?
Right.
What if I
That
listen?
man welcome you right on in.
Right on in,
without a doubt.
He and I, we talk about it all the time. I said, why? Because right before that, a guy, a promoter from LA came down. They gave that guy, put him in a hotel for 10 days. They wanted to start doing, so it's the improv in LA does chocolate Sundays. Okay. It's black comedy night, whatever. And they wanted to start doing something like that here. And that guy came down and they had the show and he left with all the money. I didn't even know any of that.
Right.
And I found that out years later. So when I talked to Jeff, I said, Jeff, why did you pick me after what that guy did? Right. He said, it was just something about you. Right. It was just something I saw in you. And I didn't know that guy had done that. Right. Had no idea. Right. And but yeah, when he and I said, you know, that's favor for one. But it just goes to show again what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set the example so others can have the same opportunity. Exactly. You know.
And like you say, if God for you,
that's right.
Be against you.
That's right.
He couldn't have denied you if he wanted to.
That's right.
It was for you.
Yeah.
That was for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Man, I want to thank you. We'll bring it to a close, man, because I've took enough of your time. And I know you got to get out there to those to the kids out there, man. Yeah. And where can they come and witness some of the poetry events you got going on as of like right now?
Mocha Lounge in Third Ward. Yeah, 4212 Alameda.
What nights is that?
Every third Wednesday.
Every third Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Every third Wednesday, Mocha Lounge. Yeah. It's going down. So you have is the comedians there, or is it just poetry
night? Just poets. Yeah,
okay,
just now poetry. I have a comic that is the host, and she's funny. Yeah, she funny. But yeah, every third Wednesday.
And what's the time span on that? Like early, mid?
8 o'clock. And it's church night, so we try to have you out of there by 10. So you be back at home. Yes, sir.
Well, man, I want to thank you for coming out, man. And I want to thank you for bringing your book and allowing the people to see what your newest title is. And let's reflect and send them back to the other two titles in case they want to get them. What's the first title?
Life is Not Complicated, You Are.
Life is Not Complicated, You Are.
And the second one is The Other 99 Times.
The Other 99 Times.
Train Your Mind to Enjoy Serenity.
Already. And they can get it at where?
On CarlosWallace.com, Amazon, Barnes, wherever books sold.
Wherever books sold.
Life is Not, you Google that, it's going to come up.
Yeah, hey, man, it's a blessing. It's an honor and a privilege to have you here, man. I'm thankful and I'm grateful. And I appreciate you for coming, man.
Yeah.
God is good.
We've been working on it. We got it.
We appreciate y'all. Poetic Genetics, PGTV podcast, bringing you real life stories from real life people, one episode at a time. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being honest and being present. Peace.